Hello guys, welcome back to TFD with another video, and it looks like Indiana Fever's star Kelsey Mitchell has finally broken her silence about last night's game. But here's the kicker, she wasn't the only one. Caitlin Clark also had some things to say, and when you put it all together, this story is getting real interesting, guys. For this one, we gotta go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it, let's go. Now listen, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I've got some mixed feelings about that game. Do I feel like it was rigged? Honestly, yeah, in a way it kind of was. And I know some people weren't too happy with the comments I made about Coach Steph and the way she's running that defense, but I gotta go into it, bro, because the more I think about it, the more it doesn't sit right with me. Look at all the injuries this year. It's mostly guards and small forwards going down. Not power forwards, not big centers, but the players who are being forced to overexert on defense night in and night out. That's not just bad luck, that's a pattern. Think about it this way. You don't see Steph Curry out here trying to lock up somebody built like Dennis Rodman. That mismatch is just different. But that's exactly the type of thing we saw happening in his game, and nobody's really addressing it. Before we even get into what Kelsey Mitchell actually said, I just had to point that out. The way the Fever are being asked to guard players is raising red flags. Now with that said, let's get into Kelsey's message and why Caitlin Clark decided she had to step in with her own words.
When you really look at the current situation and the stats, me personally, I honestly feel like Kelsey Mitchell was pushing way too hard on defense. That's probably part of the reason why her body ended up shutting down the way it did. Because let's keep it real, that's ultimately what happened. Now, Chloe Peterson actually put this out last night, and I think we got to break it down and talk about it right now. If I can get this pulled up here. Because here's the thing, a lot of people were saying, man, it really didn't look like anything major was wrong with Kelsey Mitchell. But that's the surface. When you actually dig into it, you start to see the picture differently. And that's why we need to talk about it. How about that? How about we really dive in and talk about it? It said Kelsey Mitchell suffered from rhabdomyolysis, a rare muscle injury, on Tuesday night. Treatment includes IV fluids and PT. The Cleveland Clinic says most recover from rhabdo, but can have lingering muscle weakness for a few weeks.
So this is what Chloe Peterson tweeted out just moments ago. And look, I know a lot of people felt some type of way about the whole Kelsey Mitchell situation. Even myself, man, I keep it real with y'all. Last night, after I dropped that Kelsey Mitchell video, I didn't even come back on. I just wasn't in the mood. And the truth is, I really wasn't in the mood to even talk Indiana Fever basketball because there's just too many moving pieces to the season. Too many moving pieces to why they ended up losing. Now, of course, you can sit up here and say it was the refs. You can blame this, blame that. But here's my stance. Had they had Caitlin Clark, they win it all. I'm standing on that. I truly believe if they had Caitlin Clark, they beat Minnesota, they beat Phoenix, and they beat Las Vegas too. Matter of fact, I think they would have badly beaten Las Vegas. Vegas probably would have only snuck out one win, and that series would have been wrapped up last Saturday. No doubt in my mind. Had Caitlin been there, Fever would have been the first team to clinch. Easy. So, Kelsey put a message out for the fans. This is what she stated. To the Fever fans and fans of Kels Hoop, me letting you all know about my health is just me showing love and respect to those who showed it to me. I suffered from something called rhabdomyolysis last night. My muscles stopped producing and reached its maximum capacity. I went into a sense of numbness, paralyzing feeling with no movement from my lower extremities for up to 5 to 7 seconds. Because my muscles stopped producing positive blood to my bloodstream, my body locked up from a physical standpoint, and from there fatigue and cramping settled in. It sucked. I panicked because I began to think the worst when I felt like I couldn't move my legs. It was an out-of-body experience for me, and I thank God for covering me at a time like that. So today, on October 1, I am walking and moving at a slow pace, but I will be fine very soon. I want to thank the Fever medical team, Vegas medical team, and the staff at the local hospital for keeping me safe. In other words, I played literally till my wheels fell off, LOL. Thank you for the prayers, love, respect, and support throughout all of this. If you roll with me through this journey, then I love you. Oh, out.
I know I've had a lot to say about Kelsey Mitchell at certain points this season. And let me just be real clear. I'm just doing my job as a sports analyst. That's what I do. I break things down, I share opinions, and sometimes those opinions might sound a little tough. But I've got no ill will, no bad feelings towards Kelsey personally. And if she or her people took it any type of way, I want to apologize for that. Because at the end of the day, I'm wishing her nothing but the best as she goes through this recovery. I'm praying for her. God cover her with the cloth of love, strength, and healing. Everybody watching, I hope you send nothing but love toward Kelsey and her family right now. Look, I know people feel a certain type of way about a family, about decisions, about what's been said online, but at the end of the day, we all have a job to do. We all have opinions, as fans, as media, as analysts. But when the game ends and the lights are off, Kelsey is still somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's aunt, somebody's loved one. She's more than just a basketball player. So for me personally, I just want her to hear nothing but the best. Health, peace, recovery, and success moving forward.
And that's where you got to start looking at the front office, right? Because Skip Bayless actually said something earlier that really had me thinking. He stated this earlier, and I got to agree. He said if Caitlin Clark had been out since July 15th, but came back for the playoffs, the Fever would be in the finals right now. And not just in the finals, man. I believe the Fever would have won the whole damn thing. No question in my mind. And that brings me right back to the front office, because God forbid Caitlin Clark ever has to go through this again. Imagine Caitlin Clark never winning a ring in her entire career. Imagine her ending up like Charles Barkley, like Carmelo Anthony, like Allen Iverson. All legends, all greats, but none of them ever got that championship. And let's be real, this isn't on Caitlin. She had no control over whether she could play or not. That decision fell on this horrible front office. Caitlin hasn't been hurt since July 15th. Just like Uncle Skip said, there is no way Caitlin Clark was still dealing with that groin injury. No way. She was good to play. I don't care what anybody says. She was good. What the Fever did was think about longevity over championships. And that, my friends, is selfish. Straight up selfish. Selfish, selfish, selfish. And let me reemphasize this point right here. Caitlin Clark has not won at the highest level yet. She didn't win a national championship in college. She didn't win in high school. And now here she is in the pros and still no championship. And this ain't on her. This is on that front office, plain and simple.
Tyrese Halliburton cooked when he said this about Caitlin Clark.
It's been cool to just grow my friendship with her, and I don't want to be like everybody just wants to like get more from her, take more from her, like get more answers to things, and I don't want to be that. I just we're friends, and I think that's a cool part. If she wants to talk basketball, we'll talk basketball. If not, I'm totally fine with that as well. But I think we've grown a pretty
Ryan
cool
Rucco
friendship.
said Caitlin helped put a magnifying glass on the league because it showcased the foul inconsistency to a larger audience. Also that the league should take more steps in training officials and establishing the level of physicality early in games.
And this is an area where I think, Caitlin in so many ways has been a magnifying glass for different things that go on in this league, right? And in this sport, in I think a wonderful way. And I think we've seen a lot of fans be introduced to the league and they're watching and they're like, wait, what? You can get away with what? And I think, now, you have kind of a broader understanding of what's gone on when it comes to, just off-ball contact. So if I was just going to take one thing right away, to me, there's a lot of like two hands, like on people, just really stopping their movement, off the ball that I don't think is conducive to, showcasing the skill and the talent. So that would be my first thing. And then, I also think there probably has to be a conversation about, how do you invest in and develop the, best officials in the world? How do you make sure, your rules beyond just that movement, although I think like that emphasis on freedom of movement would do a lot. How do you make sure that everything is kind of showcasing the best skill? Because to your point about the college game, you adapt, right? You have those rules. That's going to make you play a certain way, right? So if in game, 1 through 5, every time, Kelsey Mitchell's running off a screen, or Jackie Young is, or Kelsey Plum, or name your player, they're getting touched and whistle. Well, probably the defender's gonna be like, yeah, I can't do this anymore.
Exactly.
So I think that, but I do think that like there has to be, or there, in my opinion, there should be some, just some acknowledgement of like, okay, maybe this has been allowed in a way that isn't going to be, best for the sport moving forward.
Right.
Chloe Peterson came out and said this: the Fever exit interviews have been set for Thursday morning. Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, Lexi Ho, and Kelsey Mitchell are all set to talk, along with Coach Stephanie White and GM Amber Cox. Now, Amber, I gotta be real. I'm interested to hear what the hell you got to say. For real. I want to know, bro. Matter of fact, are these exit interviews going to be streamed live? Because I need to watch this live. I'm not waiting on no recap. I need to see this in real time. I need to know what's going on, man. So tomorrow we are locked in. Exit interviews are going up, and you already know we're going to run through all of it. But the one I'm really circling, Caitlin Clark. Because listen, Caitlin Clark is the big joker in all of this. She's the one card that can change everything. And here's why. If Caitlin decides to actually address Kathy Engelbert, if she steps up and makes that statement, that could snap everything the Fever have been trying to do this season. People want to know what Caitlin's got to say, and I think it's time. The season's over. There's no more, oh, we don't want distractions. No, now is the time to keep it real. I think Caitlin Clark needs to finally speak her mind in this exit interview. I think she needs to put her foot down with this league, with the front office, with anybody that's been circling around her name. It's time. I can't wait, y'all. I cannot wait. Get down in the comments right now. Do you think Unrivaled is going to announce Caitlin Clark's future tomorrow? Do you think she drops a bombshell? Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. We got more coming.